Folks, I'm not introducing me, Mark is. So thank you all. God bless you all. Let's go lick the world. Let's get it done. But I tell you what, I don't know about you, but I'm going to go to bed. Have a good time. Thank you for your service from the bottom of my heart. Really. Happy Thanksgiving. See you all. Oh, who am I giving this to?
We are a community that relies on family, on Ohana.
Middle class was built by the middle class, and the unions built the middle class. And two of the great artists of our time representing the groundbreaking legacy of hip-hop in America, LL Cool J. You could say even this harder than getting a ticket to the Renaissance tour or Britney's tour. She's down in, it's kind of warm in Brazil right now. And by the way, with other movies and movies she's earned a Golden Globe and a Primetime Emmy. That's me. Now that we are back together here in Cambodia, I look forward to building even stronger progress than we've already made. And I want to thank the Prime Minister for Colombia's leadership in the ASEAN chair.
And to say to President Biden, can you hear me, President Biden? This is a historical moment for Brazil and for the U.S. President Biden, can you hear me? You can? Yes, good.
Well, we're going to win and we're going to help. We have plans to build a railroad from the Pacific all the way across the Indian Ocean. It's about making sure that the Southern Hemisphere had access to change it, had access. It wasn't confrontational at all.
Thank you, everybody. This ends the press conference. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.
Are you bringing U.S. strategic interest?
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Alvin. Happy birthday to you.
Instead of cutting them, or like Congressman Trump and Bo want to do. President Harris is there to make sure we do this the right way. Leading tech companies like Anthropic, and I'm going to mispronounce. I'm not going to even try. More than half the women in my cabinet, more than half the people in my cabinet, more than half of the women in my administration are women. 68 times, 68 hours, 68 times, more than 68 hours. All right, God save the Queen, man. What a stupid son of a bitch. Rashid Sunak is now the Prime Minister. More inflation. What a stupid son of a bitch. To keep alive the truth and honor of the Holocaust, horror of the Holocaust, honor those we lost. No one fucks with the Bible.
Yeah, goddamn right.
And I can't argue with your brothers outside the house.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
But every once in a while, I make a mistake. Not like once a speech, but at any rate, years ago when I started talking to this for this job, I said, "Please take your seats." There weren't any seats; everyone was standing. There were no chairs. Please tell us by going to report fraud, DOTFTC.gov. My message to fraudsters looking to cheat the American people is don't do it. Best way to get something done, if it holds near and dear to you that you like to be able to, anyway, we're going to get a lot done. Cicadas. I just got one. It got me.
And the president of South Africa, as I said earlier. Oh, you did? I did not. I didn't.
Anyway, we have fewer democracies in the world today than we did 15 years ago. Fewer, not more. Fewer. Just remind him, I wrote the bill on the environment, on the environment, on the environment. Why would I not be for it? That's a serious question, right? It's acceptable to me. Come on. Because of the actions we've taken, things have begun to change. End of quote. In the past 3 weeks, I'm especially honored to share the stage with Brittany and Jordan and Nathan and Margaret Catherine. I love those barrettes in her hair, man. I tell you what, look at her. She looks like she's 19 years old, sitting there with like a little lady with her legs crossed. Brittany, you're doing triple duty. Anyway.
Meetings going here in Cornwall.
Very well.
How do you realistically and physically keep these families from coming to the U.S. when things will not get better in their countries right away?
I can't guarantee that, but I know, that old thing, the journey of 1,000 miles starts with the first step.
And the President of the United States, Joseph R. Biden, Jr.
Why are you so confident he'll change his behavior, Mr. President?
I'm not confident he's changed behavior. What the hell? What do you do all the time? When did I say I was confident? I said, what I said was, let's get it straight. I said what will change their behavior is if the rest of the world reacts to them and it diminishes their standing in the world. I got them $1.9 trillion relief so far. The receptionist, the salon, they may be going to a salon, I don't know. Well, look. Thank you, Boris, and And I want to thank that fellow down under. Thank you very much, pal. Appreciate it, Mr. Prime Minister. Guess what? Employers can't find workers. I said, yeah, pay them more. Pay them more. Pay them more. Anyway. Thank you. My physical as well as my mental fitness. And I want to see these beautiful young ladies. I want to see them dancing when they're 4 years older, too. I'm looking forward to this, man. You walk behind me in a debate. Come here, man.
Why should people want to make a change, though?
Well, that's up to them to decide.
Why should they?
It's for them to decide.
Well, make your case.
I'm not going to. We can't rebuild our economy and meet this climate crisis, exacerbating the need for environmental justice. Sorry, as a bug. Speaking of the environment. We need to work again with Canada and Mexico as neighbors, not as adversaries. Donald Trump does pose an extra threat to this. It's not hypothetical. There's things that are worth dealing with China tough on. That makes it far more durable, reliable, and powerful. And partnerships built on coercion. Because if you could take care, if you were a quartermaster, you can sure in hell take care of running a department store thing, where in the second floor of the ladies' department or whatever. You know what I mean? And what makes his wild claims and hopes, he now hopes we don't notice what he said or won't remember. And when he does follow through, or doesn't do, would follow through, the exact opposite. 1.2 billion. So you go ahead and you stack spaghetti sauce at a store and in a supermarket. You control the guy or the woman who brings out the carts on a forklift. What happened? The way China will respond is when we gather the rest of the world that in fact believes in open trade and making sure that we're in a position that the world that we deal with WHO the right way. That in fact that's when things began to change. I looked at it anyway. That's what I think my plan. I know what my plan does. I mean. No, but I mean, it's not about, I know you're supporting by saying booing, but look, here's the deal. And I had a nurse nurses at Walter Reed Hospital who would bend down and whisper in my ear. Wow. And go home and get me pillows. They would make sure they'd actually, probably nothing ever taught in, you can't do it in the COVID time, but they'd actually breathe in my nostrils to make me move, to get me moving. So you don't make somebody else sick.
I want to
sick. What's with this guy? Well, the only thing we can do about it is be prepared. We have a whole group of lawyers who are going out to every voter registration physician in the states, the secretaries of state, making sure that they, in fact, have a game plan as to how they're going to allow the voting to take place. But in the 2020 census, which is now 2 censuses ago, soon to be, estimated that 200 million people have died, probably by the time I finish this talk. Unnecessarily, now we have over 120 million dead from COVID. That's why I've made it a priority my entire career to work closely with you. From the time I got to the Senate 180 years ago, as well as my tenure as vice president. 1787, the United States Constitution. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Kingswood Community Center. Actually, that's the one down I used to work. It's a joke. You know where we were. Anyway, and welcome to the nation's Constitution Center. I had the great privilege of being the guest leader of this outfit for a year. It's an appropriate place to make the speech I'm about to make. Great. God, love it. How are you? Hey, everyone. I'm Jill Biden's husband. But the truth is, she's the strongest person I know. She's a backbone like a ramrod. That's the kind of first lady this Jill Biden will be. God love you. I know you're trying to goad me, but I mean, I'm so forward looking to have an opportunity to sit with the president or stand with the president in debates. So I couldn't tell anybody but Barack. Don't have here in Miami, in Florida. You don't have it here, and that is if you keep it on. We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by you know the thing. I'm among many qualified people. I'm the best qualified person for this job. I'm beginning to see why your wife left you.
Why attack Sanders?
Why? You're getting nervous, man. COVID has taken this year, just since the outbreak, it's taken more than 100 years. Look, here's the lives. When you think about it. You know, the rapidly rising I don't know. I just spoke at Dartmouth on healthcare at the medical school, or not. I guess I wasn't actually on the campus, but the people from the medical school were at the. I want to be clear. I'm not going nuts. I'm not sure whether it was a medical school or where the hell I spoke, but it was on the campus. I propose, and I'm going to digress slightly. We're in a situation. The president asked me to head up a cancer moonshot. Another country and annexed a significant portion of it called Crimea. Right. He's saying that it was my boss, it was his fault. Guatemala, El Salvador, and to go in and say in Honduras and say, look, I took on Putin in terms of Iraq. In terms of what was going on in Ukraine. By strengthening, by investing $100 billion in education, in global warming efforts. It's a whole range of things. We can't afford it by just beginning to treat reward work as much as wealth. It get hot. I got hairy legs that turn blonde in the sun, and the kids used to come up and reach in the pool and rub my leg down so it was straight, and then watch the hair come back up again. If you want to protect yourself, get a double-barrel shotgun. Have the shells, a 12-gauge shotgun. Don't jump. They look at it. So I learned about roaches. I learned about kids jumping on my lap. And I've loved kids jumping on my lap. To say that LGBTQ people have no civil rights. No man has a right to raise a hand to a woman in anger. We have to just change the culture, period, and keep punching at it and punching at it and punching at it. It will be a big, no, I really mean it. And immediately change the law in the state of Delaware protecting transgender people. We have to eliminate the funding gap that exists between minority white and majority white and non-white districts. We have this notion that somehow if you're poor, you cannot do it. Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids. Man, you're hard to keep up with.
You did right out there. But after a good workout, got to drink up.
All right.
Otherwise, we're going to be in trouble with Jill and Michelle.
Just let Michelle know I did drink this, all right?
Same time next week?
Same time next week. All right. You got a real dilemma, Mr. President.
I can't go every day, can I?
Which you like better, these or these?
Joe, they're the same.
They capture different moods. I didn't get a chance to flash shift in a second. I was afraid I'd go through those guys. I said, no. I said, if we were in high school, I'd take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of him. Corruption? Trump was out there tweeting again this morning. I call him President Tweety. Well, Trump is pursuing a damaging and erratic trade war without any strategy, by the way. This guy is moving to foment hate. But President Trump and the demagogues around the world, but if Donald Trump is reelected, he doesn't want to shed light. He wants to generate heat, and he's stoking violence in our cities. I want to be clear, I'm not going nuts. The president has a big stick. We choose truth over facts. Check my shape on it. Let's do push-ups together, man. Let's run. Let's do whatever you want to do.
One man stands ready to deliver change we desperately need. A man I'm proud to call my friend. A man who will be the next president of the United States, Barack America.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States of America, Barack Obama. We can speak out and be more straightforward. I'm not going to be a mule. I got something to do. I got to go do boom, boom, boom.
Hillary Clinton is as qualified or more qualified than I am to be Vice President of the United States of America. Let's get that straight. And quite frankly, it might have been a better pick than me, but she's first rate.
I know I'm called middle class Joe. It's not meant as a compliment. Means I'm not sophisticated. I want to be clear. I'm not going nuts. You're a damn liar, man. That's not true. I can get things done. That's why I'm running. And you want to check my shape on it, let's do push-ups together, man. Let's run. Let's do whatever you want to do.
To the words united. To the number 30330. 30330. Or 303330. Or BOO. Wait. But you got it.
That saves billions of gallons of gasoline. I mean, billions of $2.3 billion worth of, $500 billion in savings and 2-something billion metric tons of CO2 going in the air. Well, folks, eliminate one tax loophole out of $1.6 trillion worth, $1.4 trillion worth. Out of $1.4 billion. It's hard to even say it, it's so much. And by the way, it's cost a lot of money. It cost about $740 billion over 10 years. Now is the time to heed the timeless advice from Teddy Roosevelt. Speak softly and carry a big stick. End of quote. I promise you, the president has a big stick. I promise you.
Joe, you want to administer the oath?
Am I doing this again? My memory is not as good as Justice Roberts, Chief Justice Roberts. I was a Democratic caucus. You ever been to a caucus? No, you haven't. You're a lying dog-faced pony soldier. You said you were, but now you got to be honest. I'm going to be honest with you. We have this notion that somehow if you're poor, you cannot do it. Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids. Wealthy kids, black kids.
In Delaware, the largest growth in population is Indian Americans moving from India. You cannot go to a 7-Eleven or a Dunkin' Donuts unless you have a slight Indian accent. I'm not joking.
Chuck Graham, state senator, is here. Chuck, stand up, Chuck. Let him see you. Oh, God love you. What am I talking about? I tell you what, you're making everybody else stand up, though, pal. Thank you very, very much. His mom lived in Long Island for 10 years or so. God rest her soul. And although your mom's still alive as your dad passed. God bless her soul. I agree that everybody, once they, in fact, anyway, my time's up. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Vice President.